Do you know that even if you're a foreigner and you get married outside of Ecuador, you can still get divorced here? Yes, really. If you or your spouse are temporary or permanent residents in Ecuador, you have the legal right to divorce in the country. But before you rush into the courthouse or a notary, there is one absolutely essential step you must and need to take first. This has to do with the registration of your marriage in Ecuador. And no, it's not just about having married written or your Ecuadorian cedula. There is a specific legal process that many people overlook, and missing it can completely block your divorce. Let's get into it. So let's discuss about the legal foundation of a valid divorce in Ecuador if you get married abroad. Before you can get divorced in Ecuador, your marriage must be first registered in Ecuador. That's right. Having your cedula listing you as married or even displaying your spouse's name isn't enough. That information only comes from the visa office when they process your cedula order, but it's not a registration on the civil registry. To legally recognize your marriage within Ecuador, you must complete a separate registration process before the civil registry. If you haven't done that yet, pause this video right now and go watch our video about marriage registration in Ecuador. After this step is completed, you will be ready to move forward with your divorce. Yes, you can divorce here even if your spouse doesn't live in Ecuador. That's the one biggest surprise for expats. Ecuador allows divorce when at least one spouse has a residency here and has completed the marriage registration. Don't forget about it. And there are several ways to do it, from fast and friendly to, well, not so friendly. Let's discuss about type 1, as I call it, of divorce. The Notarial Divorce is the fastest, cheapest, and most recommended. The best option for sure, when possible, is to divorce through the notary. If both you and your spouse agree to divorce, you can do it before a notary in Ecuador, and it usually takes around 40 minutes, and that's it. You sign the papers, it's processed on the spot, and then the divorce is registered in the civil registry to complete the execution of the divorce. I will talk about the requirements to be able to divorce in Ecuador further in this video once I discuss all types of divorces, as the requirements are actually the same for all three of the different ways to divorce in the country. Type 2 of divorce, judicial divorce by mutual agreement. If you and your spouse are still in agreement to divorce, but prefer or need to do it through the courthouse, you can file for a judicial divorce by mutual consent. This process happens before a judge, and both spouses must appear or be represented. Which reminds me, the notarial divorce could be done through a POA, as all two types of judicial divorces. If you're interested in learning more about POA and how it works in Ecuador, we also have a video about it, so you can scroll down in our YouTube channel and you will find it there. The procedure usually takes about 6 to 8 months to do this mutual agreement divorce, and it includes a single court hearing, which again, you and your spouse could attend in person, or we as an attorneys could represent you through a judicial POA. What's the best part? You do not have to prove any specific cause for the divorce. You simply state that you both want to dissolve the marriage and the courts grant it. Type number 3, judicial divorce without agreement. But what if your spouse doesn't agree to divorce? That takes off the possibility of a notarial divorce, and that takes off the possibility of a judicial mutual agreement divorce. Or what if you have lost contact with him or her, or they live abroad and refuse to cooperate? Well, that's when you can file the unilateral divorce, a judicial divorce without agreement. This type of divorce can be initiated by just one of the spouses and doesn't require the other to even be in Ecuador. In this case, you will need to present evidence such as documents, witnesses' statements, or even text messages, or anything showing that there is a valid cause for your request of divorce. Common legal clauses in Ecuador include lack of harmony in the marriage, separation for more than 6 months, abandonment, or emotional disconnection. Even violence, but let's hope we don't need to go down there. It's more complex, yes, and it takes a little longer, around a year in courthouse, 10 months to a year, but it gives you the legal right to move on with your life, even if the other person won't cooperate, and even if the other person is not even in Ecuador. Remember, all 3 types of divorces could be validated and registered in your home country if you're interested in doing so. Let's discuss about the document requirements, which are the same for all 3 types of divorces that I have discussed. No matter which type of divorce you choose, notarial, judicial, with or without agreement, the basic requirements are the same. This is what you will need: your Ecuadorian marriage certificate from the registration before the civil registry, and again, more details about that on the registration video. A valid Ecuadorian cedula for at least one of the spouses, the other we can use a passport. Birth certificate of your children if you have any Ecuadorian or foreign, and if they are older than 18 years old, especially only if they live in the country. If the spouse lives abroad, a special power of attorney may be required so we as the lawyers can represent him or her in Ecuador if we are doing either judicial with agreement or notarial divorce. It's essential to review each document carefully to ensure it meets Ecuadorian legal standards. Translations, apostilles, and notarizations might be necessary. Once the paperwork is completed, you're ready to move on to the next step: resolving family matters like custody and support. This is only required if you in the marriage have children that are younger than 18 years old. If you do not have children younger than 18 years old, you can skip this step of children and custody related matters, and with the documents that I have already explained, you will be ready to move forward with a divorce with us. So if you have children, again, younger than 18 years old, no matter what type of divorce you choose, the law requires that child support, custody, and visitation are formally established before we can complete the divorce. But don't panic, that doesn't mean an endless courthouse battle. As a certified mediator, I can help you to reach those agreements quickly and affordably through mediation, which is legally valid and recognized by both Ecuadorian courthouse and judges and notaries, so you can apply for all the type of divorces that I explained. That way, you avoid the conflict and protect your children's well-being in a cooperative, respectful process. But if there is no agreement or no way to mediate with your spouse about those related matters, no problem. The courthouse will take care of it along the divorce process if you choose to go through judicial divorce. For going down the road of notary divorce, if you have kids younger than 18 years old, not only you will need to agree on the divorce, but also on these childhood family related matters. Now let's talk about the final steps. So we have already taken care of the children, we have already taken care of the documents, we have already taken care of the divorce, and we are divorced at this moment. What we require is the registration of the divorce. Once your divorce is finalized, whether through a notary or a court, it must be registered in the civil registry to take full legal effect. The civil registry will add a note on the margin of your Ecuadorian marriage record indicating that the marriage has been dissolved. That's the document you will use to update your Ecuadorian cedula with your new marital status, inform banks, notaries, visa offices, or other institutions which will keep you from the 50-50 rule that we have of the assets in Ecuador, or protect you from this rule, and if needed, even register your divorce back in your home country. At Expat Law Group, we can even help you with virtual registration so that you can access your updated records online from anywhere in the world in under 5 minutes. So let's recap. Yes, foreigners can get divorced in Ecuador even if they are married abroad, but remember you need to register your marriage in Ecuador. for which we only need one of the spouses to be currently living in the country. Which brings me to the second bullet point. At least one of the spouses must have an Ecuadorian residency, either temporarily or permanent. Your marriage must be registered first. The same requirements apply to all types of divorce. Having a cedula to each one of you, or at least one of you, having the registration of your marriage, the birth certificate of your children, especially if they are younger than 18 or older but living in the country, and an agreement over the child support, custody, and visitation if you have children younger than 18 years old. And remember, after you are divorced, don't forget to update your cedula, because you need to change your marital status and handle the division of assets for your own property in Ecuador. We can absolutely help you with that. At Expat Law Group, we make every step clear, lawful, and efficient, so you can choose this chapter confidentially and start the next one. Don't forget, learn more about this essential requirement of the registration of your marriage by clicking on the video here.